2015 Dodge Challenger SXT. Is there a car better representative of America's lust for nostalgia? It seems nostalgia drives America now. A nostalgia for the music and movies that people grew up with. A nostalgia for the good old days of sports. And a nostalgia for the cars of our youth. While a lot of manufacturers are selling us nostalgia, with Ford bringing back the Ranger and Bronco nameplates for enthusiasts, Chevrolet and Mitsubishi cashing in on the Blazer and Eclipse names to sell crossovers that will blend in with the rest of the crowd, and Toyota, of course, bringing back the storied Super name on a fancy BMW Z4. But one manufacturer has been cashing in on the nostalgia more than any other for well over a decade now. That manufacturer being Fiat-Chrysler automobiles. At the tail end of Chrysler's merger of equals with the Daimler Group, Chrysler had begun making a push towards marketing its brands around nostalgia. Concept after concept invoking the image of 50s and 60s cars. The decidedly hot rod-inspired Plymouth Prowler and Chrysler PT Cruiser, and Dodge bringing "Yeah, muscle cars!" image across the entire lineup, with the chiseled looks of the Charger, Magnum, Avenger, and Caliber, as well as the success of the throwback looks of the S197 Ford Mustang. The timing was perfect for Dodge to bring back the Challenger. Dodge had first used the storied Challenger nameplate in 1959 with a value version of its full-size Coronet called the Coronet Silver Challenger, which was only available in silver because, of course, the 50s. But the name really got famous with the introduction of the 1970 Dodge Challenger, a true pony car competitor to take on the Mustang and Camaro. The Challenger became a muscle car icon, a car that we can truly be nostalgic about, as seen through countless Mecum auto auctions. And then there was a second generation Challenger that has largely been forgotten, mostly because it was a rebadged Mitsubishi Galant Lambda coupe sold from 1978 to 1983. And honestly, the boomers would prefer we forget about that car. The third generation Dodge Challenger was previewed in concept form in the 2006 North American International Auto Show in Detroit, while the production model was shown with very little changes the next year in Chicago. This is a big boy. Sitting on a modified Chrysler LX platform known as the LC, the LX itself being a heavily modified Mercedes-Benz platform used on earlier S-classes. While the original 1970 had a wheelbase of 110 inches, was 191.3 inches long, 76.1 inches wide, and 50.9 inches tall, the LC Challenger has a wheelbase of 116 inches long, 197.7 inches long, 75.7 inches wide, and a height varying between packages from 55.7 to 57.5. While the original was small and nimble, like Bugs Bunny, this reimagining is most definitely Big Chungus. Yay, a dated meme reference that will be old when the video finally comes out months from now. This is a 2015 model year Dodge Challenger SXT, which was a big year for the Challenger as it received its second refresh in 7 years. Evolution over revolution, once again, was the name of the game, with a minor exterior and interior updates. In overall package updates, the addition of an 8-speed ZF 8 HP automatic transmission, replacing the now ancient 5-speed, upgraded brakes, and the addition of a little-known engine as the Hellcat. 2015 also introduced several nostalgic personalization traits. The base SXT and RT models got a 1971-inspired grille and several striping options. The owner of this one was able to score a mid-level appearance package on his SXT with the upgraded gauges and the famous throwback billet gas cap. Underneath the hood of the base SXT is the 3.6-liter Pentastar V6, producing a decent 305 horsepower and 268 foot-pounds of torque. Power then flows to the previously mentioned ZF 8-speed automatic before being split to the rear through an independent rear suspension. The rear uses traditional coral springs, while the front uses McPherson struts. Power options were also plentiful, starting with the V6 going to the run-of-the-mill Hemi, before topping out at the honestly crazy Hellcat. There's also the 6-speed Tremec manual gearbox option. In 2016, received an all-wheel drive option. And, of course, there's been the 808 horsepower Demon of 2018. If there's one thing you need with a muscle car, it's the ability to have endless options to make it truly your own. The Dodge Challenger SXT is a comfortable highway cruiser through and through. While higher models bring the dreams of car shows and drag racing, not this one. A V6 Challenger is for laying down highway miles and looking good while doing so. Yeah, it's a boat. But considering the other options are more tuned for anonymous crossovers, being that Challenger guy at work isn't that much of a bad thing. The owner wanted an upgrade over his Fiat 500, which arguably is a big jump. And to him, with all the highway miles that he puts on it, the Challenger is a much better choice. The steering is inoffensive, power is more than adequate, and she floats over bumps. What more could you ask for on 485? So, as for any gripes and problems, well, the owner does state that the car, it's quite large, and he has a little door ding from someone's lack of parking lot courtesy. Interior plastics are typical FCA, and 4 years in, there's some obvious falling apart in the back. One major gripe that he has is the giant shelf at the rear of the trunk. Every time it rains, the water just collects. It doesn't actually get in the trunk, but he has to be careful and try to get the water out, or it'll fall in and get his stuff wet. But overall, he's quite happy with his purchase. He got $4,000 off the sticker in 2015, and it hasn't given him any major problems in the 33,000 miles he's had it for. And that is the 2015 Dodge Challenger SXT, the modern American personal luxury coupe. You heard that right. I called it a personal luxury coupe. This isn't a sports car, and really, the base model isn't really a muscle car at that. It's a highway cruiser, and that's what personal luxury coupes were. And that's not necessarily a bad thing. Yeah, it's the butt of jokes for the rest of the car world, but you know what? It sells, and it's selling better than ever. Despite slow sales initially due to its debut during the global financial crisis of 2008, sales have steadily risen every year. While FCA has struggled in the early 2010s to give Americans its full-size, SUV, and muscle cars are steadily rising in popularity. Everyone gave Ford shit for dumping its cars last year, but FCA had quietly done it years prior. Along with Ram trucks and Jeep, they've been one of the few bright spots in Chrysler's stable. Supposedly, a new Challenger will finally come around in 2021 when the LX cars finally get a major overhaul that they desperately need. And maybe then they'll downsize it to be a better pony car. But as of right now, it's just a big, comfortable cruiser. And yeah, maybe sometimes it does pay off to be the Challenger guy at the office. Thank you for watching another episode of Wookie Drives. This one comes courtesy of Gingerbread Man 46 on YouTube, a go-to source here for classic races and racing programming. Be sure to check him out if you're looking for a good old nostalgia kick if you're a motorsports fan. If you have a car you'd like to see on the show and are in the Mooresville, Charlotte area, be sure to check out the official Wookie Automo TV Facebook page, as well as my Twitter at Wookie Automo TV. Also, check out my second channel, Wookie Racing TV, for classic racing, 2019 Archer Menard Series racing highlights, and the 1980 Southern 500, for obvious reasons. Anyways, thanks for watching another Wookie Drives, and have a good day.
Here's a couple of things America got right. Cars and freedom.